This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225 as we take your calls about your life and your money. That's 888-825-5225. Well, the book is launched. It's been available for pre-sale, pre-order for about a week, and sales are brisk.
Yeah.
Doing very well. Take Back Your Time. The Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance is here, or it will be here soon, and we're selling it now. It comes out pre-sale. The actual launch date is
September 14th.
September 14th is when it'll be mailed to your mailbox. And, of course, if you pre-purchase Take Back Your Time, the Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance, you will get the ebook, the audio book, and a lot of other goodies. Go to RamseySolutions.com, hit the store, and Christy Wright's brand new book will be there. It will be a #1. It's already selling faster than any of us imagined. We hoped it would do really good.
Yep.
But it is it's a kind of a, we're all like, wow.
Yeah, I think it shows what a pain point this is for people, because especially when you look at last year with COVID, and then now life is getting back to busy, and we're kind of going, what does this even look like? And
we had a breather there for a minute where we didn't have to, be frenetic and stressed out, and now it's like back to it.
It's right back to it. And I think too, you start to realize, gosh, I've tried to manage my calendar, I've tried different apps and different planners, and the problem keeps creeping up. And that's why I love in this book getting to the root behind our problem with our time, and then we can fix it there, and then watch how it fixes the calendar. So it's really a different perspective on life balance, which I'm excited about.
So if you feel like no matter how much you check off your to-do list, it's never enough, like you're always just pulled and pushed and torn and end of the day ragged out, well, you need to take back your time. And Christy will show you how with this new book. It's a great read, some great, very clear principles that you can apply to your life, and you will immediately identify with her and her stories all the way through the thing. On top of that, we are doing next Wednesday, the 28th, the Life Balance with Christy Wright. You can join a free session at 7 p.m. on YouTube or Facebook, and you will learn what life balance is, what it isn't, and what the root cause of why you feel out of balance, how to achieve balance so you can actually enjoy your life. And so how do you get involved with this free Life Balance event next Wednesday, the 28th at 7 p.m. Central Time on YouTube or Facebook? Well, you go to RamseySolutions.com/balance, and you need to RSVP, and we will send you the link.
Yep, get your spot.
Once you RSVP and give us your info, we'll send you a link. It's completely free. No salesman will call, and it's all on this whole subject of taking back your time. RamseySolutions.com/balance for the event next Wednesday, the 28th, with Christy Wright. Lots of good stuff going on. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life, your balance, your money, your lack of any of those. Lack of life, lack of balance, and lack of money. We can talk about that and how to get more of each. It's a good idea. And this is a great, timely subject because it's one of the most misunderstood areas where there's a lot of toxic shaming, almost the self-shaming on this whole idea of, I got to get balanced. Oh, I'm balanced. Oh, no, I'm not balanced. And so you can't really do it. And so there's a way to get control of your life, and it's called taking back your time, where you are in control again. It's interesting when you control your time and you control your money. Oh, I think we have control of our life.
Yeah, that's so true. And it gives you a sense of control that has a ripple effect. Less anxiety, less stress, less worry, more peace, more confidence, more fulfillment. more enjoyment of your life. Like, watch the ripple effect of if you can get control of these two areas of your life. It's huge. And the parallels, like we always say, Dave, between time and money is very, very consistent.
Exactly. Again, open phones here at 888-825-5225. Ben is in Detroit to start off this hour. Hey, Ben, how are you?
Good. Yourself, sir?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
So my wife and I are wrapping up baby step 3 in October. I'm 26 and she's 21, and we want to make sure we follow your plan to the letter. I'm worried I have too much house, and my question is, should I sell it and downsize, or do I just power through baby step 6?
Well, what makes you think you have too much house?
Just do you worry we're not following the 25% of your take-home pay rule?
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. But you've made it through. You're out of debt, and you're ready to start you're finishing up your emergency fund. Then you're going to be ready to start 15% of your income into retirement. Are you going to be able to do that?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So what is the what percentage of your take-home pay is your house payment?
About 30%.
Okay. Well,
35, but it's not a 30-year.
Yeah. Okay. It's not a deal breaker. I don't think you have to move down, but you just need to be aware of it. Because here's the other thing: at your all's age, and you're at the beginnings of your career. You have to be, unless you started at 12. And so, you're going to see in the coming 5 to 10 years pretty substantial chances to increase your income as your career moves along, aren't you?
Yes, very true.
Yeah, and so that's going to change that number pretty quickly to where it's not going to be 30% anymore. It's going to be 25, and then it's going to be a 30-year, a 15-year. So you're going to be able to lean in on this house. It's just, it may be in the next 36 months you're not going to lean on it really hard.
Okay. If I am, based on projections of my income in recent years and side hustles, I'm projecting about 8 years finishing up baby step 6. Would you consider that normal?
Yep. Right on. Yeah, the typical total money makeover Financial Peace University graduate that leans in is done with a home in 7 to 8 years. So that's awesome. About right.
Okay.
That's a pretty.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for.
Yeah, you're doing good, man.
You're doing awesome. Well done to be in your early 20s and be in that position, debt free, working on a house. That's awesome.
And is intentional.
Yes.
I mean, it's really looking at everything, making sure what do we got to do. So what we're saying is you're going to be a baby steps millionaire by the time you're 30.
Yeah.
That or not before she's 30. I'm sorry, you said 8 years. He was 26, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, so by the time you're 35. You'll be a baby steps millionaire. You'll be there because you're going to have a nice home that's paid for, and you're going to have, during that time, been putting 15% away of your income, and yeah, you're going to be in really good shape. Congratulations. Very, very, very well done. Well, that's what we do. It's all about you. We talk about you right in front of you. Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author. New book is on sale. The pre-order, the actual book comes out in September, and we're taking pre-orders now, and the pre-order package is a dreamy, dreamy deal. You get all kinds of goodies. The book is Take Back Your Time, the guilt-free guide to life balance. Jump on RamseySolutions.com and get your pre-ordered copy and all the goodies that go with it, the e-book, the audiobook, and tickets to things. And, oh, man, we're just giving you access to all kinds of goodies. You don't want to miss out. Dina is with us. Dina's in Virginia Beach. Hi, Dina. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing great today. I just want to tell you it's an honor to be speaking with you. I'm like a walking billboard for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I need walking billboards.
I gave your book to everybody at Christmas time, including myself, as a gift, and it's been a game changer and a life changer for me. I'm currently on baby step 2, and by the end of September, I will have paid off all of my debt.
Way to go.
Right. Awesome.
Good for you.
I'm really, really excited about it. But in looking to the future, my question to you is interesting, and I've got a unusual opportunity. I'm looking to purchase my first home. I'm currently in a rental that I've been in for 11 years. It's dirt cheap in the best possible area that I could ever want to be in. I'm just wondering if I should look to purchase this house, which would give me an instant investment because it is a duplex, or should I try to do something on a smaller scale and look for something else, a smaller single family or a condo for myself?
The one you're living in is coming up for sale?
Well, the situation is that the landlord is a very old man, and we have had discussions in the past about him giving me basically a first right to purchase.
Okay.
It would be an amazing opportunity due to the location. It is on my vision board. I have such a vision for what I would want to do with this.
So if you bought it...
there's a lot of unknowns.
If you bought it... okay, I think I just heard you're going to do a lot of renovation. Did I just hear that?
Eventually, I would be able to continue living in it while saving for renovations.
Okay, and if you don't have a tenant, can you make the payment at 25% of your take-home pay?
Yeah. That's kind of the issue. I am just starting to save. Ultimately, my question rolls to what is the best way for me to save for this, whether it's this house or another house. I know I'm kind of all over the place,
That's
and I
okay.
apologize
Well,
for that.
It's just beyond you get your emergency fund in place in baby step 3, and then you start saving for a down payment on a house. And then the only question is whether you buy that house or not, and can you afford it? And duplexes are good in that you have a tenant and that you have some income off of them. The great news is the tenant is next door. The bad news is the tenant is next door.
I got lucky with the tenant because I was able to choose the tenant. I'm a realtor.
Now, you always get to choose the tenant, but they're always next door.
Correct.
When you own the house, you get to choose the tenant. I get to choose who lives over there, but they're next door. And that creates potential boundary issues and all kinds of things you really have to work through. You have to think about that. The other downside is when you get ready to sell a duplex, the typical buyer of a duplex is not an owner-occupied. The typical buyer is a real estate investor. And real estate investors have a tendency to buy things at wholesale, not at retail. And so consequently, duplexes at the same price, say a $200,000 duplex versus a $200,000 single family sells at retail to another user. And consequently, they will generally appreciate more than duplexes will. Because of who your buyer market is. Your buyer market is a wholesale buyer on the duplex, and it's a retail buyer on the other. So as long as you understand those things going in, and you don't have some kind of false romantic version of what being a landlord is with having people next door, I mean, you could open up a farm and have a bunch of goats, right?
I've been there.
I know somebody did that.
Seemed like such a good idea at the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But that's a great example, really, because sometimes we get an idea in our head of what something's going to be like, and the reality is very different. So, I mean, you're so on point of like thinking through what are the actual implications of this arrangement, and is that what you want, or would you rather buy something else where you're not dealing with someone? So it's sometimes we need to think through the good, the bad, and the ugly, not just the good that we're excited about.
Yeah, if you get sideways with a tenant, something life event happens and they decide they're not going to pay because they're going to take care of the life event, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And even if you want to have some mercy on them and let them have some time or something, that's okay. But at some point, they got to pay or leave. And if you get sideways with them and they are literally one wall away, that can be a thing.
Well, I'm just thinking, even too, every time she walks out her front door, if they just have new things that they want to complain about, like, the water's too hot, or the paint is chipping, or, and you're right there to complain to all day, every day.
Light bulbs out. Wait a minute, I don't do light bulbs. I know, but my light bulb's out.
Yeah, and you're right there.
Yeah, that's exactly what you've got. So you have to have real boundary discussions, and you have to observe good boundaries. You can't just run over there and knock on their door all the time.
Sure.
So, but it's just it's a different thing emotionally and relationally to have them right next door. Julie is with us. Julie's in Bend, Oregon. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to talk to you guys. This is my first time calling any radio show.
Wow.
Thanks for calling.
We're honored. Thank you for joining us. How can we help?
Okay. Well, I've been doing your program for a couple years, and my husband and myself both, actually, I should say. And we recently sold our house. It was a good time to sell in our area, and we are kind of trying to simplify and scale down. So we're moving into one of our rental houses. But now we sold our house and we have this, chunk of money, and we want to tithe on it. And we go to a church regular. We tithe there, and my sister, her and her husband are pastors, so we tithe to their church too. But I'm nervous about, how do you tithe on a big chunk of money? Should you put it all in one place? I'm, seeking God, asking for wisdom and all that, but just kind of wanted your opinion on, what's the best way to tithe, and do you break it up or just put it all in one big pot?
Well, how much did you gain on the house? What'd you pay for it versus what you sold it for?
Well, we came out with, after we paid off the mortgage part that was left, we have $1 million, or just a little bit over that.
Yeah, but what did you pay for the house, and what did you sell the house for?
Well, okay, I see what you're saying. So we built back in 2006, and I think we had about $800 on our first, mortgage.
No, it's not your mortgage, darling. I'm asking what you paid for the house.
Well, to build, I don't even know. I guess I would say
what you sold it for minus what you paid for it is your gain. And that's what, technically, if you want to get a technical biblical answer, that's what you would tithe on. Your net increase.
Okay.
Your net increase has nothing to do with the mortgage. The mortgage is not a part of the formula. So it's what you sold it for minus that, and technically you would tithe to your local church. Now, if your local church has an annual budget of $300,000 and you're getting ready to give them $100,000, that's going to be a problem, because you're going to upset the old apple cart there, and you may want to think about how you place that. But that's your technical answer. Overall, though, God's not mad at you when you're giving. So let's just keep giving at the forefront and not get too twisted up on the technicalities.
Hey,
Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Dr. John Deloney will join me next week for an Entree Leadership Theme Hour, which means that as you're calling me with business questions, or if you've got questions about business, if you're dealing with things around business like stress, or like problem team members, or problem family situations in your family business or something like that, gosh, Dr. D would be the one to answer your question and help you with that. I'll always have an opinion. You can count on that. I got one about everything. So, but either way, you can let us know your entree leadership question, particularly if it falls in those categories. Just go ahead and email Kelly now at daveonair@ramseysolutions.com, daveonair@ramseysolutions.com. Just put entree leadership in the subject line or something like that, and a little bit about what you want, and Kelly will get back with you and make you a caller on the Entree Leadership Theme Hour with Dr. John Deloney and me. On the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, Andrew and Nikki are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hi. Living the dream.
Love it, love it. Where do you guys live?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, fun. Welcome to Nashville. Good to have you guys all the way here to do a debt-free scream. How much have you paid off?
$165,000.
Yo!
Okay.
How long did this take?
7 years, 11 months.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
Range between $90,000 and $115,000.
Okay. So I'm going to guess with that amount of money that might be your mortgage?
Yeah.
Way to go. It is.
Woo! You paid off the house.
Yep.
Looking at weird people. 7 years, 11 months. Just like I was telling that caller earlier in the hour. That's about what it takes on average. Look at you guys. What's this house worth?
It's worth about $325,000 now.
It's all yours.
It's all ours.
I love it. Congratulations, you guys. That is so amazing. Very, very well done. Oh, man, so powerful. So tell us the story. What happened?
So we got married 9.5 years ago, and as a wedding gift, my brother and sister-in-law gave us Financial Peace and Totally Money Makeover. And I'm not much of a reader, so at the time I didn't pick them up and read them. And a few months after getting married, we wanted to buy a house. So we went and saw a realtor friend of ours, and it turns out he was probably one of your endorsed local providers before we even knew what one of those were.
Yeah.
And so we went to him, and we had $40,000 of student loan debt, and we said, hey, we want to buy a house. And he said, focus on getting the student loan debt done first, and then I'll sell you a house in about a year, year and a half after you get that done.
Wow.
And then he gave us a copy of Financial Peace and wrote a nice note in there, and he talked to us as if we were his own kids.
Wow.
And so I walked out really confused. I was like, why is it that a realtor who makes a living off of selling homes not selling us a house?
Yeah.
And number two, why does everyone keep giving us these books? So we went back and we read the books together, and we got the student loans paid off and got a house shortly thereafter, and all the debt was done. But we never felt comfortable having the house payment and having the mortgage. So right from the beginning, we just said, okay, we're not going to be in debt with a mortgage for long, and we're going to try to pay it off as quickly as possible. And 5 years ago, we were pregnant with our first child, and we said if we make the right sacrifices now, by the time this child is 5, by the time we're done with the house, they're not even going to remember any of the sacrifices that we made. We looked at each other and said, how weird do you want to be? And we decided that we were going to be really weird. So we went gung-ho on the mortgage 5 years ago and got the last payment out in March.
That is amazing. What was the hardest part of making those sacrifices with little kids? Because little kids, I'm in that season, y'all. Like, it's no joke. It's hard on its own. Tell me a little bit about what that was like, the habits you got into.
I think one of the hardest things was maybe not necessarily going on. We still went on a couple of vacations, but not going on maybe as many vacations as what we would have pictured doing with the kiddos, because it is really fun to see their faces light up when they're having a good time or whatnot.
Yeah, and now you can take all the vacations. You can do whatever you want. Okay, who were your biggest cheerleaders, and what kept you motivated? Like, how'd you stay with it for the long haul?
Yeah, I think our biggest cheerleaders were my brother and sister-in-law, who gave us the first books. We were able to discuss with them how our progress and just encouraging us along the way. And then, just what kept us going is just that perseverance. And I'm the one where I can get house fever. So I'm looking at all those homes that are out there and saying, oh, we could move into this house.
Let's upgrade.
Let's upgrade.
No, let's not. Let's finish this one first.
Yeah, then she slaps me across the head and brings me back down to earth.
There you go. I like it. Very
awesome.
good, you guys. Very, very well done. So proud of you. It's absolutely amazing. So what do you tell people the secret is to getting out of debt? How old are you?
33, 32.
And you have a paid-for house?
Yes.
Wow.
You're so weird.
That's amazing.
What do you tell people the secret to that is?
I would say perseverance, because especially when you're paying off your house, it's not a 1-year run, and just continually reminding each other of what your goal is and why you're doing it. And then we also would tune into the radio show, especially if we were feeling a little bit an itch to do something else to upgrade to a different house. We're like, no, let's listen to the other debt-free screams and the other things, and that gives a lot of encouragement too to keep going.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And a written plan.
Yeah.
And being on the same page with your spouse.
Yeah.
We had a written plan and a plan of how we were going to get this done 5 years ago, and just kept persevering through it, and we're on the same page together. And so when you have all 4 wheels of the truck going the same direction, then you can make progress.
That's good.
It's absolutely powerful. Well done, you guys. And you brought the kiddos with you. What are their ages and names?
We have Corey. Come on up. Turn around. And then we have Kara Ray. Corey just turned 5, and Kara is going to turn 3 next week.
All right. Very fun. Good times. Good looking hat there.
That's right.
I like it. Excellent job. All right. Good. Well, we've got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. Give you yet another book. That's the next chapter in your story. You've changed your whole family tree. Very well done. A copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away and use that for your pay it forward moment. So Andrew, Nikki, Corey, and Kara from Grand Rapids, Michigan, $165,000 paid off. 7 years, 11 months, making $90 to $115. House and everything. They're not even 35 years old. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
Wow. That's fun.
That is so cool.
That is so fun.
The house, everything. And those little girls, like they said, they're never going to remember the sacrifices. They go on whatever vacation they want to now.
No, Rachel was born the year we filed bankruptcy, and they do not have memories. Denise was a toddler. They do not have memories of that. They do not have memories of the stuff that we went through, because by the time they were old enough to start actually having a memory,
right,
we were have already been applying these principles for years.
Right. Right.
And we were turning it around ourselves. And so I think there's a drama queen that lives inside of all of us. So we go, oh, with the little children, you're going to damage their little psyche. No, you're not.
It's like you always say, live like no one else, so later you can live and give like no one else. And we've even talked about this in the theme of the time management, doing the right things at the right time. Do the right things at the right time. Live like no one else. Later you can live and give like no one else.
That's how it works. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You'll get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Always use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
Today's question comes from Jacqueline in Washington. I'm a 15-year-old high school student running a nonprofit organization. We teach online classes to younger students and host events like guest speakers and writing competitions. Our organization was founded during quarantine last year, so our online classes really took off, and we've raised over $7,500. With things opening up around the country, we've been struggling to find students to sign up for our online classes. Do you have any recommendations on how to reach a wider audience or market? That's interesting because, what we did last year with COVID, Dave, is we just all adapted and pivoted and adapted and pivoted and brainstormed and got creative and thought outside the box and all that. And it sounds like that's what she has to do again, because if her main audience base was there because of COVID and quarantine having to do online classes, it's time to adapt again and figure out why would someone come to an online class now. And if not, what does it look like to maybe do something in person if that's what the audience is wanting? So it's one of those things where we're constantly adapting and iterating and meeting the needs of our market, even as the environment or the market's needs change.
Yeah, and if you're using guest speakers, it all has to do with the subject they're covering, and are you putting the right lure on the end of the fishing line? In order to attract what you're wanting to attract there, and that's going to affect it as well. So, and here's the thing: you are not far out of your own focus group, meaning that you think a lot like your customers think, probably, and so you probably think about what would you go to, and why would you do it, and you're not going to be far off on that. Now, when I started this show, that was the case because I was in my early 30s, and a lot of the people we were talking to were in their early 30s. So I knew what my customer was thinking because I was the same person as my customer.
Right.
Nowadays, I'm not.
Yeah.
And so nowadays I'm talking to people in their 20s and 30s, and I'm 60, so it's a different thing. But she has the advantage of being in the same headspace, and you can kind of go, well, why would I do that?
Right. And you can always ask. I think sometimes as business owners, we feel like we have to be psychic and just know what our audience wants. And it's like embarrassing somehow to ask them what they want. You can just ask. Like, if you're not signing up for these online classes, why aren't you signing up anymore? What are we missing? What do you need? What do you want more of or less of? Just ask them. Sometimes it can be a simple email or survey that does that.
Chiru is in Boston. Hi, Chiru. How are you?
Hey, Dave and Christy, so pumped to talk to you guys.
You too.
I appreciate you taking the call.
Absolutely. How can I help?
Dave, over the last 2 years, I can think of one single day where I've not watched you on YouTube or heard you on the podcast.
Wow.
Yeah, but I guess I'm 28 years old. I moved to the U.S. from India when I was 21 to go to grad school. I landed in the country with $100, and during those grad school days, I had a bunch of days where I was like hungry and homeless. But I was just like really grateful and excited to be in America. But yeah, when I finished up grad school, I had a $56,000 student loan and an $18,000 car loan. Fast forward today, I'm debt free. I have a 6-month emergency fund, and I have $41,000 in my Roth and my 401k.
Impressive.
And,
well done.
Thank you. And at my current job, I'm making around $72,000. And just yesterday, I got offered a job in New York where I'm going to make about $140,000.
Wow.
So,
I love it. Good for you.
Yeah, so, thank you. And I think my question is, just in terms of like, how do I really like roll over my retirement accounts, and also what would be the wise thing to do since my income is taking almost a jump to, twice of what it currently is.
Wow. Well, you always take your old 401k with you, but you never take it to the new job. You always just take it as an IRA rollover. Get with a SmartVestor Pro at RamseySolutions.com, and they'll help you select some mutual funds and roll the old 401k into it. Of course, you'll start a new one at the new place. That's a no-brainer as far as that part goes. And the second part of your question was what again?
What to do with all the money?
The wise thing be do with the jump in income.
Well, you're also going to have a jump in
cost of living.
Cost of living.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I was thinking the same thing. You definitely are. Your income's going up, but your cost of living is, I'm guessing, Boston's not cheap, but New York is just crazy. So just take into account that your budget's going to change as well. Your expenses are going to change as well. Just the cost of all the normal things you do will go up. So you will need that. And part of that is reflected in that income as well.
You say New York. You're working in Manhattan, right?
Yes, but I'll probably live in New Jersey.
Yeah, I got it. But I mean, you're moving into one of the more expensive markets in the world, as far as cost of living goes, and rent and everything. And so, but that's not going to eat up all the difference. This is still a wonderful decision, and really, you're going the right direction. As far as extra money goes, we're going to walk the baby steps, man. I mean, you're out of debt. You build your emergency fund, and you start saving towards buying a home someday. And it may take you a little while. And, of course, you're putting 15% of your income away towards retirement. And, but you've come so far. I mean, you hit the docks with $100 and you go from there to here. This is absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
So proud of you. Very, very well done. Jonathan is in Anchorage. Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
All right. So me and my wife just graduated back in May, and then we got married at the end of May. We both graduated with our undergraduates.
Congrats.
She's wanting to go to, physical therapy school, but she's going to be taking a gap year so she can work and save up a little bit of money. So my question is, should we be paying off our student loans, which is about $35,000 right now, or should we be saving as much as we can in this next year and try and cash flow as much as her master's degree as we can?
I don't think she'll do this master's degree right now.
Okay.
Because you said, I want to try to cash flow it. Which means, let me tell you what that means. It means you're not going to do it.
Yeah, no. We'd probably be able to do the first year, but then we'd have to take loans the second and third.
You need to pay cash for this, or you don't need to do it. If you put your debt on hold, if you put your debt repayment on hold and you spend all this time piling up cash and you guys work like maniacs, and you can pay cash then for her move. You don't have to have all the cash up front, but you have to see a way that you can cash flow this, and you change your statement to, we are going to cash flow this, not we're going to try. When you change that statement, then she's ready to go to school. And if that means a 2 gap year, that's cool. But if it means 1 and you guys work like maniacs and put in 1,000 hours, then that's cool. But, let me tell you that PTs, it's a good field to be in, but it's not worth going into debt to do.
It's so interesting how we make decisions differently if you take one of those options off the table. If you take debt off the table, you get creative and you find a way to make it work to pay for this school in cash, debt-free. Find any other internships, scholarships, work programs, anything to help fund it. But if debt is on the table, and this is true for undergrad, graduate school, any type, if debt is on the table, you will take it because it's easy.
Yep.
Because it's available. Because working your tail off is hard. Because researching scholarships is difficult. If it's an option on the table, you will take it. It has to be off the table. It has to be completely taken off the table as an option. And then you can actually think of how you're going to do this debt-free without loans.
I mean, maybe she goes to work for a firm that does PTs.
Right. Oh.
And maybe they pay for it.
Exactly. Yeah. There's
a lot of ways to pull this off.
You get creative
There's
if you're
a lot of ways
forced
to pull this off, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Translates, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So that you need to reset your minds on this, Jonathan, because she's going to make a mess. And I know you think I'm some kind of mean old dream killer or something, but what I'm trying to do is kill your dadgum nightmare and have you call me back in 4 years and go, I'm in a mess. Don't do that. Don't go get yourself in a mess. Just avoid it right now. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us. Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. Her brand new book is on pre-order. We just launched it last week. It is selling at a brisk pace. Apparently, it's going to be another #1 for her. It's called Take Back Your Time, the Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance. Take Back Your Time, the Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance. You can get it along with the audio book and the ebook. All of it. It comes out in September, but if you buy it now, we throw in all these goodies and more. Lots of goodies everywhere. So your pre-order, it helps Christy with the marketing, because we get a bunch of pre-sales. It helps get on the bestseller list and that kind of stuff. And in return, we help you because we give you all kinds of stuff. We always do that with a pre-launch on a book and to try to entice a bunch of you to get in. And it's a win-win. So you get a bunch of goodies that, like $150, $200 worth of stuff when you buy the book that you wouldn't get if you wait until the book comes out. And what do we get? We get a pre-order. So it's a fair trade. We like the trade. And everybody wins here. So check it out, RamseySolutions.com. Exciting times to have a guilt-free guide to life balance because people are back out of balance again.
Yeah, and it's amazing to hear how this message is resonating. I've been talking about this for a long time, but gosh, it is such a pain point. It's not just a female issue. Men, women, business owners, work in the workplace, have kids, don't have kids, we all have this sense that things are out of balance. We struggle to manage all the things. And I think sometimes we ask the wrong questions. So I really wanted to dig into the issue behind the issue in this book, which is why the tagline is about the guilt-free guide. And it's been really cool, Dave, to see how it's resonating, talking about the root problem of our feeling with this topic and then fixing it there.
I was thinking about this. Somebody was interviewing me in the last week or so. It might have been you about this topic. We've done so much around this topic, especially lately. And you and I have discussed this topic off and on for 5 years or more. You doing the talk at Entree Leadership on life balance was always a big hit. And my disgust with the general this idea that everybody's going to be balanced and everybody's going to have everything just right. And
I like to pick topics that you hate. It's a specialty of mine.
It's the wussification of America. America. I mean, shut up and go get your work done. But, you know.
And on that note, our new book on life balance, everyone.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing. So, as I was thinking about, though, really, when you do get your life balance, when you do take back your time, there is a there's a little bit of that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've had it moment where you go, okay, I am so tired of being pulled in 43,000 directions that I'm going to develop a new word when people ask me to do something, and it's called no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, that happened to me. Now, I've gotten really good
You're
at saying
so good
no.
at it. Yeah,
I can say no. Nope, not coming.
You don't even feel a little bit bad about it.
I used to feel bad for a minute, and I don't feel bad even for a nanosecond now, because it's just, no, I'm not the Messiah.
Oh.
It's his job.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus' job is to be God. I'm not him, and I can't be everywhere, do everything, and just because you get mad at me because I can't come do your thing over there, I'm sorry. No. I need to be at home with Sharon Ramsey and Rufus the Shih Tzu. No. You know?
You know what's interesting about this topic too, and this is what I've found after, a decade of speaking on this, is we don't define what life balance means, or what, we feel like we need it, but we don't even know what it is. We don't know what it is, but we know we don't have it.
Yeah.
And so there's this haunting sense that we're always failing. So no matter what you do, what you say yes to or no to, or where you spend your time, you somehow still end up at the same place feeling bad about how you spend your time. And that's the reason that I think this is not just a calendar issue. I think there's deeper issues that we have to talk about when we look at how we approach our calendar. Saying no is certainly a piece of it. There's also this pressure to do everything for an equal amount of time. And you and I've talked about that.
And I remember hearing you say 5 or 6 years ago, and it's a great line. It's the line really almost is one of the thesis lines of the book is you're going to disappoint someone, so just decide to disappoint the right people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know? If I've never met you and you live in XYZ and you want me to do ABC and you're disappointed, versus my daughter's disappointed because I missed her prom pictures because I was overdoing your stupid thing.
Yeah.
I just disappointed the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're going to disappoint somebody. So go ahead and just decide who it is.
Well,
and that's when I got real good at no.
Well, and so often I think we focus on the no and then we feel bad about the no. But what if you shifted that and it's not about the no, it's about what that no allows you to say yes to? I'm going to say yes to the prom, yes to my kids, yes to whatever's in front of me. I mean, Dave, one of the things I've noticed in my life, and so many women I work with struggle with, no matter where we are, we're focused on where we're not. So when we're at work, we're worried about our kids. We're at home, we're thinking about work and on email. If you live your whole life this way, of course you feel guilty because you're always focused on where you're not. And,
so if you're on vacation and you're spending your time in the lounge chair planning the next vacation, does that count?
Just vacation to vacation.
I have done that.
You're like, this is great. I need more of this in my life.
I need more time to plan more vacations.
But
I'm going to sit here and book the next one while I'm sitting here.
It's interesting. It's not a productivity book. It's about balance. And so when we address the right issue, you get the right results.
Take back your time. The Guilt-Free Guide to Life Balance by Christy Wright. You can get it at RamseySolutions.com in the store, along with all the goodies. Edwin is in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Hi, Edwin. How are you?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for taking my call today. I appreciate that.
Our pleasure. How can we help?
Yeah, so I'm a newer listener. Not really new. I've been listening for a few months now. Just on YouTube. Enjoy the show so much. Me personally, in my life, I'm not on a bad pace or anything. I have no debt. I'm 22 years old. Right now, I've just been focusing on saving, getting my income higher. But for me personally, my problem is that, everyone around me in my life struggles with money. I try to, give the most advice that I could to everyone. Just try to get them on a better page, especially with the cars. I tell them all the time, sell their cars because they all have, cars that they can't afford.
Who are you telling to sell their car when you're 22?
My brothers, my sisters, anyone.
How'd that go when you did that?
They love their cars.
Yeah, they thought you were crazy. Yeah, okay, I figure.
Yeah, I just want to know how could I motivate. It's really just my family, because money has always been a struggle throughout our whole lives for all of us. And I'm on a page where I don't really struggle with money anymore. I live so frugally.
Hey, Edwin, let me tell you, you can't be responsible for other people. You take care of you, set a good example, they'll start asking what you're doing different. I appreciate your heart, but you can't change their mind and you can't change their behavior.
I want you to continue to want your family to do better, but quit telling them. Quit telling them what to do. They're not going to do it. They're only going to do it after you go make a success of yourself, and then they want to be like you. So go be who you want to be, and that is the best way to get them on board.
Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless.
Ramsey Personality is my co-host today when it comes to making big money or big life moves like buying a home or getting married or having a baby. It's likely the last thing on your mind to make sure you have the right insurance. I understand that, but big changes can be overwhelming. But I tell you what, if you have a problem and you didn't take care of the insurance adjustment to adjusting to the new life situation, bad idea. You buy a house, you don't put fire insurance on it, burns 2 weeks later, it's a bad idea. Don't care if you were overwhelmed moving or not, you should have gotten the dadgum insurance in place. Yeah, you kick your own butt, right? You know what I'm saying? So if not having the time or energy is what's keeping you from getting the right coverage with your insurance, then work with an endorsed local provider, an ELP insurance agent. They're independent agents. They will shop all the coverages, get you the best price among a bunch of different companies, and they do it all free of charge. And you save money, and you get the best coverage. An independent agent shops all around, and they do it all for free. Text insurance to 33789 to get connected with an ELP and let a pro help you find the coverage that fits your life at the best price. Text insurance to 33789. So, Christy, if you're 22 or you're 42 and you get really, really enthused about a new thing, it is human nature to want people that you're doing something that's working for you. You're winning because you got this thing, whatever it is. And then you want other people to win. You want other people to experience the success that you've had. Mm-hmm. It is natural to want to tell your brother to sell his car. Yeah. To tell your mom and dad to get their act together. You know, our whole family's always been bad with money, and I found a guy who's good with money. It doesn't matter if you're 22 or you're 42. The problem is people don't care that you're excited. And it's like if you lose a bunch of weight and you run around telling everybody they have to do what you did. Mm-hmm. Or whatever. I mean, I'm glad you lost a bunch of weight. I lost 37 pounds this year, so I needed to. I got fat during COVID. and so, but I haven't run around and made everybody else do it. You know, and now some people ask how I did it and what I did, and I've shared that with them then, but I didn't go up to them and go, I'm looking at you and I'm thinking you need to lose some weight. I didn't do that, you know? That's kind of unappealing.
It is. And it's interesting because I think everybody, regardless of your personality style, is resistant to someone telling them what to do. Unsolicited advice, someone just coming up to them saying, hey, you need to sell your car, regardless of if you're family members. The difference is, like you described, if someone shows an interest, hey, how'd you do that? Hey, how'd you pay off all your debt? Hey, how'd you lose all that weight? When they initiate because they're interested, because they've seen your example, they are so much more receptive to the path, the plan, the principles, than someone just uninvited comes up to them, tells them, hey, you're doing it wrong. Here's what you need to do different. The natural inclination is to dig your heels in and go, whoa, 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 whoa. You don't know me. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
You know.
I missed the part where I asked.
Regardless of who you are, that's in the human nature to resist that. So how you do it matters as much as what you do. And so setting that example and letting people come to you, and then being open to say, hey, here's what I did. Here's what worked for me. This can work for you too.
Yeah, and what you can do is just start asking some questions. You can start telling your story.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your story. Mm-hmm. And, we can use the weight loss example. We can use the money example. You can go, hey, man, I just paid off $22,000 in debt. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. And people are going to go, oh, wow, that's kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Yeah.
And, well, you asked.
That's right.
See, don't ask.
That's right, because now you're going to get the plan.
The whole thing is to trick them into asking.
Yeah. There you go.
And tell your story, and then they invite you into their story.
Well, then you've earned a right to. You've earned a right to be heard. And I think that makes a big difference versus just going around pointing a finger, casting blame. No one responds well to that. But when you set an example through your life, when you talk about what's working for you, you've earned the right to give that advice because you've actually lived it.
Hey, watch my debt-free scream on YouTube. Hey, look here, this is what I did, man. Or you could just go, I was really scared and I didn't know what to do. And man, I got on this budget, and just being on a plan, I feel like I got a raise. And again, all you're doing is telling your story. And you keep telling your story until they ask, how'd you do that?
That's right.
And if they never ask, you can't say.
That's right.
You should do this too, because as soon as you cross that line, if they don't invite you to the party, you are an uninvited guest at the party. That's stinky. That's rude.
Nobody likes that.
That's rude. Nobody wants to be the uninvited guest, and it's the worst is when you try to do this with your parents. Because you have the powdered butt syndrome. Once someone has powdered your butt, they don't want your opinion on money or sex. And so I have very accomplished and successful children. I do not need their opinion unless I ask.
That's right.
But, my son Daniel Ramsey and I were talking about a business thing the other day. He was showing me this thing he's redoing in one of the area of the company, and it was impressive. And he wasn't telling me what I should do. That wouldn't work.
No, right.
But he was inviting me, and I did. I stepped right into it. I said, that's pretty cool. How are you doing that? And then he gets to tell me, instead of coming in and going, we need to change this around here, and you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, hey, dude, you weren't even a gleam in your mother's eye when I started this thing, so you need to shut up.
That's right.
But instead, he, oh my gosh, he got
to be strategic with it.
He did. He was taught by a pro. He completely suckered me in. But that's it. You tell your story, and that invites people to come in. And that's true of your faith. You want to talk about your Jesus?
That's right.
That's the most rude, offensive thing in the world, is to bust up in somebody's face talking about Jesus, and you don't even half know them, and they don't care what you think about Jesus. Instead, you start talking about what God did for you. What was your story?
That's right.
This is what happened to me. I was here, and now I'm here. I was there, and here I'm in a different place now. And you can tell your story all day, and very few people are offended by you telling your own story.
I answer questions at the end of the Christy Wright Show, and I got a question. I draw questions out of a fish bowl, so I don't know what's in the bowl. And several weeks ago, I drew a question out, and the question was, why did you choose Jesus over other religions? That's how it was worded.
Whoa.
And Dave, I was so caught off guard because normally it's like, how do I balance it all, right? Like it's like these practical questions. I was so caught off guard, but I just in that moment just told my testimony, and it was that exact moment of going, I've been invited to share what this is to me and how my life has been transformed by this Jesus I talk about. And because I was asked, I was able to share that in a different way. But you're right. It's setting the example where people want to ask, what's different about you? What's different about you?
Yeah, that's why when somebody knocks on your door and forces a book in your face, that doesn't work, And I saw something the other day on social media. It's like, if one more person gives me the Dave Ramsey book, I'm going to kill him. And I'm
that thinking, person must really need it.
I appreciate people buying my books, but I kind of agree.
Yeah.
An unsolicited, give me a diet book. What are you saying? You know? What's your point? Okay? Unsolicited, give me a Dave book. What are you saying? You say I'm a doofus?
Yep.
Yeah, you probably are. But, you know, you just insulted somebody with that. Now, Take Back Your Time book might not be quite as bad. It might not be quite as bad.
I always give you a hard time because when someone gives someone your book, it says, you have a problem. When someone gives you one of my books, like Business Boutique, it's like, I believe in you.
See, I need to write a believe in you book.
There
That's
you go.
what I need to do.
I don't know. You got your brand very on point with what you're doing here, Dave.
What are you saying? The brand's offensive? What are you saying, Christy?
We all know our strengths, Dave. We all know our strengths.
We all know where we're supposed to be sitting.
Oh, my gosh.
But that is, if you want to convince someone, particularly people you love, the closer we are to them, the tackier we tend to be.
Yeah.
We violate even just basic persuasion technique. You know, we just go, because it's my brother, I can say anything I want.
Yeah, and you always talk about this in motivation, similar to the topic of balance, but, you know, you get asked this all the time through Entre Leadership, how do I motivate my team? And you say you don't. You hire motivated people. He even asked, how do I motivate my family? You can't motivate other people. You really can't.
No, but what you can do is put inspiration in front of them.
Yes.
And they may hook their wagon to it.
Yeah.
And you, my son, are the inspiration.
Yep.
That's it. That's the deal. So tell your story. Even if the story doesn't have to be over. You could be just starting the story, but tell your story. Don't wag your finger at them. That's your only shot, folks. This is The Ramsey Show. Ramsey personality is my co-host today. Errol and Rachel are with us from Wilmington, Delaware, and on the phone to do a debt-free scream. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Love it. How much have you paid off?
$32,000.
Cool. How long did this take?
It took about 15 months.
Okay. And your range of income during that time?
We started off around $85,000 and then got right up to $99,000 at the end.
Cool. Yep. Like $100,000. Very good.
Yeah, so close. So close.
What do you guys do for a living?
So I worked in tech at Microsoft and side business photography.
Cool.
And I'm a high school math teacher.
Fun. Very good. Very good. What kind of debt was this?
Oh, it was wedding debt, loan debt, credit card debt, you name it.
Okay. Wow. Good for you guys.
So what happened?
What started the journey?
So really it was all about, like, you know, I came into our marriage with debt, and my wife, she didn't make me feel bad about having that debt. She said, you know, we're one. We're together in this. This is our debt. I try to make it seem more individualized, but with that, we tackled it. It was a hard journey because I couldn't see the end of the road, but through perseverance and trial and error and just following that path, we did it.
Okay, who started this whole thing? Rachel?
Oh, yes.
I thought I heard that in
yes.
there. Okay. All right, Rachel, what'd you do? What happened?
I heard about you back in grad school. I wasn't in debt yet, but I was about to be in order to get through grad school. And so I immediately started getting some financial education, and I heard about you. And so I went through your program in grad school and had paid off my debt by the time I was 25. And then we got married, and I said, well, I know it works. We can do this.
Mm-hmm. To which Errol said, "Yes, ma'am."
That's not exactly.
Not exactly. It was a journey for me to believe that this can be real. It can be done.
Yeah. Well, I'm so proud of you guys.
That's awesome. Who were your biggest cheerleaders?
I know my wife was just keep pushing me and pushing me and pushing me.
All right.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? You guys paid off $32,000 in 15 months.
Follow the plan.
Follow the plan, yes. She's the saver, I'm like the spender. And I'm like, all right, this plan works. I got to follow this plan.
How does it feel now that you get to keep all your money? You're not paying it backwards and paying it to all these debts. It must feel like you got all this money.
It feels good. It feels good. It's still a temptation because it's like, oh, there's an offer, and it's like you can save just by going back into debt. And I'm like, no. That I don't ever want to be there ever again.
Yeah, it's too much trouble to get out.
Never go back.
Yes, it is.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, way to go, you guys. Very, very proud of you. Great job. So it feels awesome now, huh?
Yeah, I said we don't want to be. I told him we're going to get out of debt before we start a family, and so we got out of debt, and now we're expecting a baby at the end of the year.
Congratulations! That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yep.
That's the most important part of the whole call right there.
That's
excellent. That is so great. Congratulations, you guys. We're so proud of you. Well, we've got a copy of The Legacy Journey because you've changed the legacy for this baby by changing the way you've handled money and getting yourself out of debt. So proud of you. We also got a copy of the Total Money Makeover, and we'll send that up to you. You can give that away to someone and pay it forward, and hopefully you can do that in a way that they want to read it, and good stuff. You know what? I'm going to throw in one more, Kelly. Let's send them Smart Money, Smart Kids, the book that Rachel and I did on how to teach your kids how to handle money.
That's awesome.
And we'll make that a gift for the new baby that's on the way. So good stuff.
Thank you.
You guys are incredible. Very, very well done. So proud of you. Good job. All right, it's Errol and Rachel in Wilmington, Delaware. $32,000 paid off in 15 months, making $85 to $99. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! This is how it is done, baby. Wow.
That's awesome.
That's so cool. What a great year they've had.
I know, and so exciting, expecting a baby and knowing you're starting that journey debt-free. I mean, that's just awesome.
It's
one less thing to worry about.
It's not mandatory, but it sure gives you a lot of peace.
That's right. It sure does.
Excellent. Keith is with us. Keith's in Orlando. Hi, Keith. How are you?
Hi, Dave, Christy. Honored to speak with you guys.
You too. What's up?
So I find myself in a weird position. I've been following the baby steps, and I've completed 1, 2, 3, and 4. Step 5 doesn't really apply to me right now. I'm single, not married, no kids, and no plan for kids in some years. And I have about $20,000 extra in my savings account while I'm working on step 6, paying off my mortgage. This is separate from my emergency fund, and I want to do either one of 3 things with it, and this is where I'd like your guidance. Would you like to know my options?
Sure.
Okay, so option 1 would be to throw it all directly into my mortgage because I closed my house with only 5% down on the 30-year fix. I know that's against your wishes. I did this before. I was a Ramsey listener.
Okay.
So doing that
Option
and having
2.
the house reappraised.
Option 2?
I'm sorry. Option 2 is just invest it, put into good mutual funds, money market account, have it grow that way. Or option 3 is kind of the careless one, but potentially just enjoy some of it because I've been debt-free for a long time without the mortgage.
What do you make a year?
I drive a pretty old. My base salary is $85, but with commissions, last year was $183. This year I'm expecting about $150,000.
Good for you. And what are you driving?
I drive a 2007 FJ Cruiser.
Okay.
Toyota.
What do you think, Christy?
I always go to this, and this is the opposite of what you always say, but I'm always like, I like dividing it up. I'm like, you can play with a little bit of money, put some on your mortgage, invest some. Like, I'm like, I like just kind of spreading it out when you've got extra, not obviously like when you got, when you're on a specific step, but I don't know.
I would do no investing above 15% of your income. Anything that you would have invested, I would put towards your mortgage. I would split it between some enjoyment. I think you need to upgrade your car. And when you're making $150,000 a year, you're driving a freaking hoopty. So I think you need to move up about $10,000 in car. And if it were me, now, so here's the thing: when you're in baby steps 4, 5, and 6, you are not gazelle intense. You are instead intentional. And so what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to be very intentional with my dollars. I'm going to enjoy some. I'm going to give some. I'm going to be investing my 15%, and the rest of it I'm going to throw on the mortgage. And that's my intentionality. And I think you're past due to move up in car. And so if I woke up in your shoes, I'd probably spend about $10,000 on a car and probably throw about $10,000 at the mortgage. But I don't want to tell you ever to do any investing beyond 15% until your mortgage is paid off. So I'm always going to throw it at the mortgage or at some enjoyment. But I think you've got some things in your life that have been put on hold back when you were in baby steps 1, 2, and 3, and they should have been on hold then. But now that you're at this stage, you should be intentional, not necessarily as intense. Does that make sense?
Correct. It does. May I ask one simple thing also?
Very quick.
If I were to throw this $20,000 at my mortgage, it would put me at over 20% equity. I could have the house reappraised, and it would get rid of my PMI.
Yeah, that's very tempting then. But then you don't get a car. So I don't know. You decide which one you want to do and when you want to do it. All I care is you're doing it on purpose. That's the intentional part. Ramsey personality is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Zach is with us in Houston. Hi, Zach. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are y'all today?
Better than we deserve. What's up?
Awesome. I got a question for both of y'all. I am looking for advice, so it is solicited.
He's been listening.
It was a great segment, by the way. For my living situation, I am in between either buying a home or getting an apartment. With this housing market the way it is, I don't know if I should jump on the bandwagon and try to outbid somebody like others I've seen been doing, or if I should just wait till it cools off and go from there.
How much do you have saved?
I have $65,000 saved in an account. Then I also have $140 in investments, thanks to the Smart Investor Pro program. So thank you, Dave, and your team.
Cool. The investments are in retirement accounts like Roth and so on?
Yes, mutual funds, some retirement stuff I rolled into an IRA.
But it's all in some kind of a retirement, or is some of it in just miscellaneous mutual funds?
Both, mostly in mutual funds.
Okay, I'm going to try one more time because I'm still confused. It should all be in mutual funds, but is it not in Roth and IRAs of some kind?
I'm sorry, it is Roth.
Okay, all of that, it should be. I was thinking it was. Okay, so you don't have anything that you can cash out of investments without retirement penalties, right?
Incorrect. I have about 50 of that I put cash towards that I could pull out whenever I wanted.
Okay, that's not in a Roth IRA or not in an IRA of any kind.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, then I would use that 50 and I would use this 65 together for your down payment. I want to put as much down on this house that does not cash out retirement to put down. Now,
okay.
Here's the thing, and you're out of debt and you have your emergency fund, right?
The only debt I have is about $17,000 towards a truck.
Well, you have to pay that off before we can have this discussion.
Okay.
So when you get off the phone, go pay that off.
Okay.
Then we're going to take the what's remaining with you're at about $100,000 roughly to put down a house then between the 50 and the 50, 65 minus 17.
And you've got an emergency fund?
The 65 includes that emergency fund.
Oh my gosh! So we don't have that either. Okay, all right. So we got to break that out. So your 3 to 6 months of expenses is set aside, and you've got 48,000 of the 65 left because we just paid your truck off, and you finish your emergency fund because we do not recommend buying a house till you're debt free and have the emergency fund. So that's where we're trying to get you to.
Okay.
Which you can be there with what you have. You just need to think about it differently and allocate it differently and not use that towards your down payment is what we're saying.
Exactly. And so let's just say we put $20,000 in emergency fund just for the fun of it. Okay?
Okay.
So out of 65 minus 17 minus 20, that's going to leave you 28 there. 50 in investments that's not in retirement funds of any kind would be 78 that you've got for a down payment on a house with a fully funded emergency fund and no truck payment. You with me?
Yes, sir.
That's where we would take you to. And then, if you want to go buy a house, that's fine. But what you want to avoid is the land of stupid and crazy. And most of what's going on out there right now is the land of stupid and crazy. So you just want to go looking at houses, and if you can buy one and not feel like you were a nut job when you bought it, then go ahead and buy it, right? There's nothing to say you can't buy in this market, but what you don't want to do is get caught up in this thing where you're paying $150,000 more for a house than it's worth because a whole bunch of goobs lined up on the sidewalk and had an auction. Right?
Okay. Yes,
so,
sir.
you go make an offer on a house, and if you don't get it, that's fine. And you just don't feel the pressure, and you don't get the house fever, and you wander around and kind of take your time. And if you can sneak up on one, fine. Or if you get frustrated with the whole process and want to just wait, that's okay too. But what you're saying is I don't want to participate in crazy, and I'm agreeing with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that doesn't mean you can't find somebody to sell a house. And in Houston, Texas, it's possible. And the market has cooled in the last 30 days over what it was in most markets. It was just about 30 days ago was probably the apex. And it was the first time since we've kept records in the real estate world that are accessible that over half of the houses that sold for more than asking price. And that was 60 days ago. And it's gone down since then. And so it's still crazy. Still crazy, but it's not anywhere near as crazy as it was 2 months ago.
I got a question, Dave, for all the people listening right now that are in that position where they're either buying I guess mostly probably buying their first home, maybe buying, a different house or moving. How do you discern, am I being a nut job or not? Because I think a lot of people, especially someone, that like Zach, that he's buying his first home, what is reasonable? What is too much? Because we've talked before about, the demand dictates the price. And so someone's willing to pay it. This is the new value. This is the new price point. If someone's listening right now and they want to buy a house, how do they discern, okay, this is a normal, competitive, good thing to offer, and this is now getting into the land of crazy? Do you have any type of parameters to help people discern that? Because this is so scary for a lot of people right now.
Well, I mean, okay, number one, anytime you're doing something new, buying a house you never bought before, it's going to feel a little scary.
Sure.
Whatever you do.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of scary I'm talking about. But I think most of us know when we're out of control, in a frenzied buying mode. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a manic thing, like a manic depressive, like a bipolar thing. Mm-hmm. And we all have that little thing. I mean, I know when I have bought stuff when there was nothing going to keep me from buying it. I was like an addict. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think if you're in that gear, you need to stop and back away. And it may not even be the price. It may just be a spiritual thing that you're not supposed to do that right now. Because if you're getting in that manic gear, where nothing can keep me from my housing fix, like you're a freaking addict or something, you got house fever.
Yeah.
And that's when these people are going, that's when they're going to wake up with regret on the back of their tongue. They're going to wake up with a financial hangover, having bought the house. And it's not necessarily, oh, you paid 22% more. There's not a formula
There's not
like
a number
that.
to it. Okay.
But you kind of know that you're out of control.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, I can even remember going in freaking Costco, and there's too much stuff in the buggy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just out of control.
Yeah.
And it's you're tripped a gear there. That's not just, okay, this is a systematic, methodical, reasonable, wise purchase.
So you're saying more check in with yourself. It's less about the house and the price than it is like what's going on in you.
Because I don't think there is a formula on the house or the price.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you go way up over the value, the asking price, and any comps in the area, and you're going to pay 40% more than it's ever appraised for before, you're probably in the stupid land. I mean,
and how can you even be excited about that because you're just the one that paid more? Like it's like yeah, you got it, but you're also just the highest bidder.
People are doing it.
I know.
And it usually has to do with they're moving from a very expensive market to a less expensive market, so they perceive value there that's not there.
Right.
So
like California people coming to Nashville. I mean, we see that a ton. Yeah.
Yeah, you move out of you move out of Silicon Valley and you move to Abilene, Texas. My God, you can buy half the town.
Yeah.
With when you sold your house.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but that doesn't mean you should.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's a good buy. It doesn't mean you're not going to be able to resell it after you do that. But the real estate prices are just so different that it emotionally just lets you get out of control.
Yeah.
And so you've got to use just some methodical, okay, here's what the house appraises for with comps. The market's really hot, so it's probably worth a little bit more than that. Really? I mean, it really might appraise because there's a heat on the thing, supply and demand, but it's not worth 34% more.
Yeah, gotcha.
I mean, you know, we're not going to take a $500,000 house and pay $750 for it and call that wise.
Right.
That appraised a month ago for $500.
Right,
you know,
right.
We're not in hyperinflation here.
Yes. So it's a range you're kind of looking at.
That's just your brain going into addict mode, and you've got house fever.
Yeah.
And you gotta just. We all can do it. I can do it. I can sense myself doing it, and I have to just go, whoa! I'm managing God's money here. I got to report to him how I'm doing this, and he's not gonna like my attitude. I gotta fix this. This is the Ramsey Show.
It's Kelly, associate producer for The Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section or head to theramseyshow.com. Thanks for listening.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. You jump in, we'll talk about your life and your money. Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host. We have launched her new book for sale last week, Take Back Your Time, the guilt-free guide to taking back your life. I love it. You got to check it out, folks. And it's all the goodies are with it on the pre-sale. The book actually comes out in September, but if you want the audio book, the ebook, and a bunch of other things worth almost a couple $100 worth, you can go ahead and pre-order the book now. It helps you because you get all the stuff. It helps us because we get a pre-sale. So that's why we like it. Everybody's winning here. Go to RamseySolutions.com and get signed up for that. The phone number here is 888-825-5225. Shelley is in San Francisco. Hi, Shelley. How are you?
Good, Dave. Thank you for taking my call. I'm a longtime listener, and I love the show.
Thank you.
Awesome.
How can we help?
Okay, so when I was in my 20s, I worked for the government, and I traveled a lot. I was all over the world. I had to move residences many times and kind of lost track of a couple things. And I feel like I remember opening a Roth IRA, and I just feel like I lost it. And I was thinking about attempting to try to find it. And I just don't know the best way to go about it. And if I start calling, banks or institutions that I think it could be with, what department do I ask for to try to track this down? And also, could things that I've lost track of been turned over to the state as like lost property?
Yeah.
And if
how long ago? How old are you?
I'm 41.
So this is like 20 years ago.
Yes.
15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been turned over because if an account goes completely inactive and a bank can't find you, regardless of what kind of account it is, they will do it. So you think this was probably with a bank?
I thought it was with Bank of America, and I did go talk to them, and they tried tracking some stuff down. I don't have like the greatest confidence that it was, fully researched, but they said they didn't find anything and nothing was turned over to the state. And I've lived in 3 different states as well, so it makes it a little more complicated.
Well, the Department of Commerce does the accounts that are turned over in each state.
Okay.
So you can contact the Department of Commerce in each state, see if your name's on a list there. That's a fairly easy process.
Okay.
And then, you've got Bank of America, and what are your other options? What are the banks? It was a bank IRA, you feel like?
I feel like it was, and it could be with Navy Federal. I don't even know if they do that. I have to check them.
They do.
Check into that.
They do.
And so, and there may be other stuff out there that I lost track of as well. So I may just do it with everyone I think it could possibly be with and check both. For an IRA or
they ought to be able to drop your social into their system.
Okay.
With written permission from you, and just see if anything shows up, an old checking, an old savings, an old Roth, anything with Navy Federal or with Bank of America. And you just think you may have gotten an incompetent dube at the branch at B of A, which really wouldn't be that unusual.
Yeah. Well, they had some other stuff messed up in my account as well, which, looking at it, I'm like, my name is wrong, and things were wrong about the information that they had on file with me. So I didn't have the greatest confidence that it was a thorough search. So.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have confidence in the person who was doing it, is what you're telling me. So, and again, that's not that unusual. So, yeah, I think you're on it. I would hit the Department of Commerce in the 3 cities. I'd hit Navy and I'd hit Bank of America. And if you can think of a couple more, hit those, and then call it a day and go, this is a lesson learned.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
you.
And I just lost it after that. But,
well, and I would say if you don't get someone competent at the places that you call, I mean, my go-to is I'll always just call back. I call back the next day, get a new person. I'm like, hey, I'm like, it's my whole first time calling, and maybe that person might be more helpful. And if give that a try a few times, hopefully you'll get someone helpful in the lineup.
Yeah, and the same's true of the branch. You walk into a branch, just go to a different branch. There's another one, and you can get say, hey, I need a little help here.
Yeah.
And the good news, Navy Federal is probably pretty responsive because she probably was, like she said, she was working for the government at the time, and they're probably going to be of help to her on more so than B of A. That would be my guess. All right, Bronson's with us in Santa Barbara. Hi, Bronson. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How are you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I just got married about 3 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited for the future, and I just graduated college before that, and I'm about to start law school in about a month.
Good.
And, being married and everything, now I have to worry about, another person with money and everything. And being in law school, I won't be able to work, my 9-to-5 job every day. So I'm just looking for ways that I can capitalize the most in what you suggest for, coming out of law school.
I assume your wife is working.
Yes, sir. She's a real estate agent.
Okay. So you've got income to work with for your household, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So exactly what's your question then?
So I make about $2,000 a month off of passive income. And that's going to be basically what I'm bringing in during law school. So what's the main way that I don't want to just, keep putting money in the bank and just, have it store there?
No, there's not an I anymore. There's a we.
Yes, sir.
you got married, and so your household income is going to be used to pay your household bills in your law school.
Yes, sir.
And the $2,000 and any commission she makes on real estate and all of that.
I have a full ride scholarship. I was valedictorian in my class.
Wow. Good for you.
Got a good scholarship. So I won't be paying anything actually for law school.
Okay.
So
well, then you would work, your household will work the baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
And you first save $1,000 and make sure you're debt free, and then begin to build an emergency fund. But this is your whole household, not just your little $2,000. It's the money she's making as well. We're all putting it in one pile, and we're going to say these are our goals. We're going to go ahead.
Get on a budget, a real budget, an every dollar budget. Bronson, you and your wife on a shared budget. That's going to be the tool that helps you do what you're asking us about on a budget together, on paper, on purpose. The money you bring in, the money she brings in, all your expenses, that tool is what's going to help you work that plan.
Here, I'll help you with it. We're going to give you a wedding gift. I'm going to send you a copy of the Total Money Makeover, and you and your spouse get to read that as a wedding gift, and then it'll get you rolling right down the baby steps, man. That's what it'll show you how to do. Hey, congratulations. Yes. Valedictorian, married, free law school. Dadgum. Wow. Awesome. This is The Ramsey Show.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
Right, Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. If you're in debt, you're out of control with your money. Well, I know how that feels. I've been there myself. Been a long time ago, but I've been there. And I do still remember that feeling. You feel like you're fighting a losing battle, like you're stuck in a hamster, stuck in a wheel. Am I ever going to get out ahead? Gosh, I wish I could get ahead of this. Well, it doesn't have to be like that. When you attack this debt, like your life depends on it, you take back your life and your paycheck. And then you begin to build the life you really want. And we can show you how to do that. We've shown millions and millions and millions of families how to do that in Financial Peace University. In this class, you learn our proven plan. It's a clear path that's helped millions of folks pay off their debt and begin to build wealth. A lot of them become baby steps millionaires. And, you stick to a budget. You're going to get the premium version of our budgeting tool, world-class, top-shelf budgeting tool, every dollar. And so you get Financial Peace University every dollar and a bunch of other stuff on Ramsey Plus. You get your Ramsey Plus membership. That's how you get it. And, you start your free trial of Ramsey Plus, and your constant battle for your money, well, it's going to be over. You're going to begin to get control almost immediately. Text trial to 33789 to get a free trial to Ramsey Plus. Text trial to 33789. Now, Christy, you guys have a big event coming up for Life Balance next Wednesday, right?
Yes, we are talking about why you get out of balance in the first place, which is important to know if you're going to fix this feeling that you have. And I just want to help people get it together before their life gets back to crazy in the fall, which we know that August is around the corner. School schedules, work schedules, all the things are filling up. So we are doing a free live stream session with me on Life Balance Wednesday, July 28th, 7 o'clock Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. Go to RamseySolutions.com/balance to get your spot and join me, and I'll be giving you some tips to get balanced before your life gets back to busy this fall.
Wednesday, July 28th, 1 week away, 7 o'clock, free on Facebook and on YouTube. So just text balance to, or go to RamseySolutions.com/balance, RSVP today. That simple. Christian is with us. Christian is in Austin, Texas. Hi, Christian. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Doing well yourself?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Hi, yes. I have a question. So my father just passed away at the beginning of the year.
Oh, my goodness.
And he was kind of in charge of like all the money between him and my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't really believe in like or understand investments. So he thought his retirement would be owning rental properties.
Mm-hmm.
And with my dad passing away, my mom is now, she has to take care of all the rental properties, and that's like not her only source of income. She has a pension from a teacher retirement, but so she's just trying to figure out whether to sell or keep the houses and what she should do.
Mm-hmm.
And
how old is she?
She's 58.
5'8". How old are you?
27.
Okay. And how many houses did she inherit?
She has 2 rental properties and then the house at where she lives at.
Okay. Are they paid off?
Yes, they're all paid off.
What are the rental properties worth?
I would say the 2 rental properties would net to like $350
each, or total?
Total.
Okay. All right. Good. Where are they?
They're in El Paso, Texas.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry you guys are going through this. It's a hard time for all of you. So is your mom, when she talks about these rental properties, is it scary to her, or she just hates them, or she just doesn't know what to do, or what is it? What comes out of her when she starts talking about them?
Yeah, it's kind of like she's scared. My brother's helping her with collecting the rents and kind of being a property manager for one of them. And the other one is pretty easy, but whenever an AC breaks or something breaks at the house, like she has a point of contact, but she's just trying to figure out, because the house that she lives at, she can't really afford it. So she's trying to figure out whether to get rid of that one and buy a different one.
Is it paid for too?
Yes, it's paid for.
Why can she not afford it if it's paid for?
Just property taxes are really high.
Does she not have any income?
She does, but with property taxes and like all her living expenses, it just covers it. It just covers everything. So,
how much are the property taxes?
So for the one where she lives at, I think it came out to like $14,000 for the year.
Mm-hmm. Does sound high.
Sorry?
I said that does sound high. What's this house worth?
That one, I would say anywhere from the $200,000 to $300,000 range.
So a $300,000 house in El Paso, Texas has $14,000 in property tax?
Yes.
That's weird. Okay. I'm a little shocked, but Okay, so it's $1,000 a month. What's her income?
I think her income is about $3,000 a month.
So she doesn't work?
No.
Why?
Just with COVID passing away, she's just waiting for. She's also a teacher, so she's waiting for school to go back in session and start like substituting.
Okay, you have a temporary problem and you're coming up with a permanent solution. Her income is not $3,000 a month. She's a teacher. Her income is $7,000, $8,000 a month, including all these rents and her teacher's income. She can easily afford this house. And selling the house is a permanent solution for a temporary problem.
Okay.
Are you saying, Christian, she does not want to go back to work? Is that what you're really trying to say?
Yeah, she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
But I kind of.
Does she? But she doesn't have any money except these two houses, right?
And the pension.
Yeah. You can't quit work on $350,000 at 58 years old. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have enough money. So if you sell these two houses and put her money in investments and take her pension too, she's going to have a paltry income. She's just hurting and grieving from the loss of your dad, hon.
Yeah.
And so what we've got to do is help her get healed and get past this. She's just feeling vulnerable and weak and doesn't feel like she's got the stuff anymore. And we just got to pump her up a little bit and help her get back into the classroom. It'll be good for her healing anyway. And so, you know, she needs the income. Now, if you want to sell the properties off and put the money in mutual funds and not have to deal with them, that's fine. If you want to hand them to a property manager and you and your brother help with the property manager and the property manager being the point of contact to collect the stinking rents, it'll be worth the fee to do that. And she'll probably make more money on these two properties if they're managed well than she would on $350,000 in mutual funds. So that part your dad was actually right about. But they're more hassle. And I don't want her having to be the point of contact 90 days after she lost her husband. I don't on a heat and air problem. I want you to put a property manager on these properties, or I want you to sell them, one of the two. But I don't think she needs to sell her house. Her house is not the problem, and she is going to have to get back in the saddle. It's going to be good for her. So, man, I'm so sorry. You guys got a lot of pain there. A lot of stuff you're working through. I feel it with you. But you can do it, and I'm glad she's got you in her corner. So square your shoulders, put your arm around your mom, walk her through this. You can do it, man. This is The Ramsey Show. Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Brent and Clinton are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Welcome. And where do you guys live?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
All right. So good to have you guys. All the way down here to do a debt-free scream. How much did you pay off?
So we paid off $222,228.
Ooh, goodness.
Yeah.
How long did this take?
About 6 years, just under.
And your range of income during that time?
About $135 to $195.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. What do you guys do for a living?
I'm a sergeant on the police department.
Mm-hmm.
And I work for a utility provider, engineering.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to guess with 6 years and $200,000 you paid off your house.
You nailed it.
You guys are rock stars, absolute weird people.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is fabulous.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Well done.
Amazing.
Man. So what in the world started you on this process?
Well, that's an interesting story. Probably about 2 years before we got started, Brent approached me and she said, hey, your cousins are doing this thing called Dave Ramsey thing where you pay some money to go learn about how to handle money. And I was like, honey, so I'm a police officer and I have the gift of skepticism. And I was like, hey, we got to pay money to learn about money? I think that's not right. That doesn't sound right. So about 2 years later, my buddy approaches me about it while we're sitting there in a car at work. And he's like, hey, man, he kind of knew about our situation and everything that was going on. He's like, hey, you should read this book. And it was your book, The Total Money Makeover. And so I went home and I was like, hey, honey, we got to do this. Like, I read the book in, I think it was 2 days. I was like, hey, we got to do this. And so she was a little bit reluctant at the time because she's like, oh, now that it's your idea, we got to do this.
She's like, I remember bringing this up.
I like that.
Yeah, so I was the reluctant spouse initially, and then she kind of became the reluctant spouse, and we kind of moved past that initially, or a little bit down the road. So, yeah.
Good job.
So y'all went all in. Or did y'all have other debt in addition to the house?
Yes.
Yeah. So we had our about $20,000 in student loans. We had $28,000 or $29,000 in a truck. I'm sorry, that was our SUV. About $36,000 in a truck, and then the rest was the mortgage.
Yeah.
So in that same time, we cash flowed a bunch of stuff. We did about $30,000 in our house renovations. She got an MBA. Then we had IVF and some other surgeries along the way, and then some more vehicle purchases up and down just between vehicles and whatnot. So a lot of different things happened.
Wow. But you did it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All the way out. No house payment or anything.
No.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Nope,
You're
it's
so
great.
weird. You're so weird. How old are you guys?
I'm 35, and
I just turned 33 today.
today.
Happy birthday. Yay.
That's
And
awesome.
no house payment. What's this house worth?
Our neighbors just sold theirs for about $300, so we're thinking somewhere pretty close to that.
Yeah. Wow.
so
That's got to feel great.
It's
It does.
awesome.
35 years old and paid for. 33 years old, have a paid for house.
It's
Paid
awesome.
for everything. No debt, no payments anywhere.
Nothing.
It's weird. It's
Yeah.
a really weird feeling, but it's awesome.
Kind of surreal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
It's very, very fun.
No payments.
Okay, what's the story on this T-shirt?
Oh, yeah.
So our police department, we actually host a lot of the financial peace classes. And,
okay.
So I've coordinated several of those along the way, and it's just kind of the joke of, I'm not your financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. And so it's basically, I have had people approach me quite a bit, like, hey, which funds should I be in? You know, which funds do you do? And I'm like, hey, look, I'm not going to give you what I do, but I'll show you kind of the process, the thought process on what you should be looking at and how to pick funds if that's
There
something
you
you
go.
want to do, or go find somebody who's going to help
Teach
you
you
out with
how
that.
to fish. I'm not going to do it for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good for you.
100%. Yeah.
Well, thanks for leading at the police department, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We've been doing it for about the last 5 years. There's a picture that we sent in. That was me and our lieutenant. He's actually getting ready to retire. Oh, there it is. So we've been doing it for the last 5 years. He started it up before me, and then I jumped on board to help him out in any way that I could. And now he's retiring, and so I'm getting ready to take over.
All right.
That's
so
awesome.
It's awesome.
Well,
Congratulations.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
it's a lot of
leading.
fun.
So what's the secret? What's the secret to getting out of debt? And in y'all's case, all the debt, even the house.
Communication.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
that's
gotta-
a big one.
Yeah, you got to be on the same page. Obviously, we were not initially, and it took us a while to get on the same page. But once we got there, then once the train started rolling, it was so much easier. So.
Yeah, definitely say being consistent too. You know, keeping your goals in focus and understanding why you're doing it. That's a big thing. I mean, we bought a house right when he wanted to start Dave Ramsey, and it was stuck in 1978. So we had a lot of renovations to do. And I wanted to, house loan or credit cards, but he's like, nope, we're done. So we took a step back and cash flowed the whole thing, and now it's all paid for.
And it's beautiful,
Amazing.
too.
Yeah.
Updated. So it's great.
There you go. Really, really nice. Well, congratulations, you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Very, very proud of you. And again, thank you for running for running the class at the police department. My experience with law enforcement guys and gals is that if I can get them talking about this money thing, that it really big time impacts their marriage. Because it gives them a chance to talk about stuff that otherwise they might not have talked about that they needed to.
Yeah, I 100% agree. There's obviously there's a lot of stuff going on with law enforcement and the stress and everything else that can happen.
Exactly.
And so if you've got something outside of the work to talk about and kind of make sure you're talking constantly with each other, it definitely helps a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely helps.
Yeah. You need that connectivity, and it's real easy to get all walled up with all the stuff you guys see and do every day, and
absolutely,
and the stress and the weird world that we live in and the whole thing. Yeah,
I'm sure it's like pulling a thread, right? Like it's like you start talking about the money and the budget, and actually you get to more layers of maybe where you're missing each other in communication or something, some other stress that the money was then kind of highlighting.
Yeah, I'm sure Bryn would know about that a lot more because I like to put up those walls quite a bit, and she breaks them down though. She does a good job at it. So
that's a fairly normal process. Yeah, I'm proud of you guys. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done. And again, thank you for leading the class. That's very, very powerful.
Absolutely.
We've got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in your story. You're on your way to being Baby Steps Millionaires. You're going to be there before you know it.
It's going to be awesome.
And you guys fit the mold exactly. I mean, that's perfect. Where you're going to be in 5 years is going to be absolutely amazing. What that house will be worth, what your funds will be worth, all that, man, ding, ding.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And thank you for all the work that you're doing. It's really impacting our police department just having this program there. Definitely can tell it's changing the lives, not only of our police officers, but the civilian people that we have that come through the class as well that help. It's great.
Sure.
Awesome.
Sure. Well done. And we got a copy of Total Money Makeover. I'm sure you'll find somebody to give that to and help out along the way. And so we're so proud of you guys. Very well done.
Thank you very much.
Absolute rock stars, man. 35, 33 years old, paid for house, $222,000 paid off in 6 years, making 135 to 195. Clinton and Bryn from Indianapolis. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! That's it, baby. Woo! Woo! Bring it. That's fun. That is very fun, you guys. Very well done. I am amazed as we get into these Baby Steps Millionaires, how many of them, we found out the number 3 career out of the 10,000 that we studied. Number 1 was engineer, number 2 was accountant, number 3 was teacher. But how often they're married to a policeman?
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
There's often, I don't know, there's something going on there, and it's... But they're working the baby steps, and they get the millionaire net worth, and I'm calling them Baby Steps Millionaires, but that's where they get to.
Right.
And it's happening. It's happening. And those guys, I mean, you look at this, they're making 195 between them.
Mm-hmm.
They probably bumped it up doing some OT and stuff to get this thing knocked out. But, even if they're making 165, whatever, right in there between them, and they have no house payment, and they're 35 and 33, the numbers real quickly get
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Real
The sky's
quickly.
the limit.
Yeah, it's how fast they're going to have $1 million net worth with their 401ks and IRAs and the value of the paid for home. It's going to be classic because usually the house represents about a third of the first $1 to $2 million in net worth. So very, very, very cool. Fun stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is the Ramsey Show. Scripture of the day, Matthew 7:16. By their fruit, you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Benjamin Disraeli said, the legacy of heroes is the memory of a great name and the inheritance of a great example. Woo! That one will preach. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us, America. Jason is in Phoenix. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Hey, Jason. Excuse me. Hi, Dave and Christy. Thanks for taking my call today.
Sure. What's up?
So my wife and I, we're in baby step 3 right now, and we are working on a 6-month emergency fund, which is going to be just a little over $41,000. And we're halfway there and expected to be done just around March of next year. And we have a couple of changes that we can make right now that will save us some money, but we're a little bit hesitant to make those changes until we get that emergency fund fully funded. And those changes are, one, we can change the deductible on our homeowner's insurance from $1,000 to $5,000, and we can drop comp and collision on a vehicle that's worth about $6,000. And those combined would save us about $1,000 a year, but we're not sure with the increased exposure of changing those if we should wait until we're fully funded or make those changes now.
I would drop I would kick the homeowner's deductible up. You already got $20,000. You can cover a $5,000 deductible. I would not drop the comp and collision.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd let that ride.
Nothing.
It's not that bad a buy. Most of your savings out of this that you're discussing is coming from the homeowners.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, the comp and collision on a $6,000 car is not that expensive. And so,
no, it's not, but
yeah, that's not the big savings here. And it's, I bought when I discovered that was because there was a guy out there 1,000 years ago, like before I even started, that I went to one of his seminars, and he always talked about dropping comp and collision, dropping comp and self-insuring on your vehicles. And so I was kind of always early on when I first started doing the show, I always thought about doing that and thought about telling people to do that. And I bought a Jeep for like $4,000, $5,000, an old used Jeep to put down at my lake house many, many years ago. I don't even have the Jeep anymore. It's gone. But it was like $3,000, and I got the quote on it, and it was like $100 or something to put comp and collision on this little dinky butt, ragged Jeep. And I thought, I really, for $100, I'll do that, And so it really wasn't, it's worth it. And now I even look at an expensive car and I go, it's worth it to cover it. So I generally cover them. I've got one vehicle that I don't have that on at one of our vacation properties, but it sits most of the time, so it's a little harder to justify it. But yeah, I generally speaking, if you've shopped it with one of the endorsed local providers and you've got a good deal on your comp and collision, I recommend keeping that. So good question though, man. Thank you for joining us. John's in Oregon. Hey, John, what's up in your world?
Well, I have a question for you here. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you and Christy.
Sure.
I bought 160 acres about 30 years ago and built it up from scratch, built the roads, the house, the barn, the irrigation system, the well, the septic, and all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm at a point now where I'm thinking of selling. I'm 70, and people are interested in buying, so I wanted to know what provisions I should consider if I were going to try and do a happy deal, because I think the banks are probably going to be reluctant to loan on this much property.
What's it worth?
Probably $750,000, $800,000. It's tough to say. This is a weird market where I'm at.
Yeah. Why would a bank not loan if somebody put down a large down payment?
Well, I really haven't talked to them. I thought they were kind of allergic to renting on acreage.
No, I mean, if somebody they may require 40 or 50% down or something, but you are too.
Right.
So I listen. I sell. I don't sell a lot of real estate. When I sell a piece of real estate, I don't want it back. So happy means they put down so much that if I have to go through the hassle of a foreclosure, then I'm happy to take it back. So if it's worth $750,000, somebody puts down $350,000, they don't pay, you get it back for $400. You put the $350 in your pocket. That that's probably going to make you happy, but you still got to deal with all the crap.
That's true. I'd rather not do it that way.
Yeah, I would rather take a few dollars less for the property and not carry note on it.
Okay. And I know the government has some program where they'll finance people, but I was a little reluctant to get into that three-party deal.
Well, you don't have to. That's the buyer.
Right.
You're not going to get in the borrowing business, but yeah, I think if somebody has $350,000 down on a $750,000 deal, they probably can get financed for the balance of it. I believe they can through through something. Again, you can check some of your local credit unions or whatever. Talk to a couple realtors in the area that are going to maybe help you sell it, and they probably know if they sell small pieces of land, or not small. That's 160 acres. He says small ranch on the computer screen here, and I'm like, that's a pretty good size one. By Tennessee standards, maybe not by Montana standards, but anyway. So, talk to your local real estate ELP. They'll have a way that the buyer can get this financed, and I wouldn't carry the note if I were you, because I think by the time you get that back in a market that is good enough as this is right now, then you're gonna get your money. You want your money now.
Yeah, and then it's just one less thing that you have to deal with. Less stress, less worry for you.
Brody's in Utah. Hi, Brody. What's up?
Hey, I've got a bit of a problem with a debt collector. I've taken care of all my other debts, and I have $3,400 left on a rental lease that was broken like 3 years ago. I called them multiple times, and they're just rude. I offered them $700, and they're just like hanging up on the phone. They don't even complete a full sentence. They like read their little script, and then they're like, "Okay, see ya, click."
You offered him $700 on a $3,400 deal?
I did.
Okay. And it's from a broken lease?
Yes.
Okay. Have you talked to the original landlord?
I have not. It's like a student housing development in St. George, and I'm not really certain what avenues to...
You're screwed. Okay. Well, you can't make someone take less. I mean, it may take $3,400 to clear it, and rude is a technique with the bill collector. It's a technique. They're supposed to be making you upset. That's their job, because when you're upset, your brain doesn't work.
Yeah, they definitely scrambled
when
me
you
up
get
a little
mad,
bit.
you do stupid stuff, right? When you get your feelings hurt, when you get scared. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to push you back on your heels. And so just be real calm and collected and go, call them back and go, okay, 700 causes you to hang up the phone. And I understand you're being rude, and that's a technique, and good luck with that, because I'm not going to get upset. So do you want some money? Because I'm trying to give you some money. And if you want some money,
right, I told her that too.
Yeah, tell me what kind of money you're going to settle this. Have they made you any kind of an offer?
No.
Okay.
The first time they told me pay in full, and if you're not going to work with us, then we're going to put it as some throwaway line saying that you're in trouble with us.
That's the crap, yeah. We're going to put you in double secret probation. Yeah, thank you, Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a break here, really.
Yeah,
making stuff up.
Yeah, I'm just going to make crap up here. That's what they do. So, yeah, I don't know. The only thing you can do is just keep bothering them. Maybe you become more of a bother to them than they are to you.
That would be a fun change of pace. Give them a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, no kidding. It's been kind of nice being able to use that little vindictive part of my body that's just like ready to go.
Channel that energy.
Just don't cause you to not think, because that's their job. They're trying to get you where your emotions are overriding your wisdom, and that's where you don't want to go. Good job, Christy.
Thanks for having me.
Good job, Ben and Kelly in the booth. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there is ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even send clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.